Bruce Bradtmiller owns Anthrotech, a consulting business in human body size. I'm medium and round. He's very tall. He's appointed a U.S. expert in ISO, the International Standards Organization, in the area of body measurement. He once measured European truck drivers on a ferry while crossing the English Channel. Everyone welcome Bruce Bradtmiller.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here. This is my first PK, and it looks like fun so far. Good. Yeah, probably so. I have to.
You an IT guy? Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, we're ready to go. So I'm here to talk about body size and how we're all different from each other. And, you know, these guys here, you've got a tall guy and a short guy and a kind of heavy guy and a skinny guy, and yet they're all white men. In fact, they all work at the same place. But when we talk about designing for worldwide variability, we've got men, we've got women, we've got Asians, we've got Americans, we've got tall Dutch people. And to accommodate all of those, we need to be aware of body size. And what happens is when we're not aware of it, things can get uncomfortable in a hurry. And I'm actually headed to Japan on Saturday, and I'm hoping not to be the guy in the middle. But so how do we address the body size issue? How do we fix some of those problems? Well, one way we do that is take measurements. And what we do at Anthrotech, we measure lots of people for lots of different dimensions. And this is from a project we did for the Army a couple years ago, but we measured 12,000 people for some 95 measurements. So we have a lot of data collected with tape measures and calipers and so on. Just as a brief aside, that's not the only way we collect data. We sometimes do 3D scans, so we get images, and those are good for capturing shape as well as size. But for the most part, today I'm just going to talk about tape and caliper kind of measurements. So we measure all those people, and what do we get when we're done? Well, we get a bunch of numbers. And the numbers themselves don't do very much for us. That is, you know, it's a pile of numbers. So we try to organize those numbers in a way that we can do something useful with them. So one way we do that is kind of statistical manipulation, and we'll get the traditional bell curve and the mean value or the average. And you're familiar with this as a general shape, but what it's telling us is that there are more people in the center of the distribution, fewer people on the sides. So, but do we design for the center? Typically not, because if we design this doorway for the average person, then the tall half of the population couldn't fit through. So it's a very simplistic thing, but we try to design for the tails of the distribution with the idea that people in the middle can be accommodated. But the doorway is a simple example. It just has 2 dimensions. But most things, office furniture, clothing, and so on, has many more dimensions, and that makes the problem a little trickier to deal with. So there are 2 main ways that we can deal with human variability in design, and both of these represent one way. What they have in common is they're accommodating design through adjustability. The office chair is adjustable, it goes up and down, and the armrests go in and out, and the skinny jeans have stretch fabric. So they're accommodating the variability in another way. But the other way we can accommodate variability is with sizes, and we're familiar with this from clothing. So we take that distribution that we had before, and we can divide it into blocks, and we can make one size for each of those blocks and presumably accommodate our variability that way. But again, that was only one dimension. This is showing some sizing in 2 dimensions. We've got sizes going left to right, and then lengths going up and down. So all of a sudden, you know, you've tripled the number of sizes that you have to accommodate people with the short, regular, and long. So what that does for us, though, it gives us a sizing chart, and you've seen these if you order things offline, or online rather. And we've got, in this case, 4 different dimensions: the bust, the underbust, hips, and waist, and the specific dimensions that go with each of those sizes. But the problem is that if you actually look at a pattern, and this is a pattern of a blouse or the top of a dress, you can see there are lots of dimensions, way more than 4 dimensions that you need to make that pattern. And so that is what makes it a little more challenging to deal with it, because of all those dimensions, and you couldn't put all those on a sizing chart. So what we do then, we'll take the people in each of those sizes and we'll look at the range of dimensions within each size for everybody in those sizes, and we can better predict the other dimensions that we need for the pattern. But in actual fact, what happens is a garment company will use a fit model, and I just pulled this off the internet, but there are any number of companies that provide fit models, and they're actual human beings. These are all size 8 ladies. And so a company will choose one of these ladies and essentially optimize the fit for her, and then grade up and down to larger and smaller sizes. Well, what happens is sometimes the clothes don't fit us. And the reason they don't fit us is that if our proportions are different from those fit model proportions, we'll be fitting in the chest but not in the waist, or fitting in the hips and not in the knees, or whatever. So that's one issue. The other issue is it's a real estate issue. So we're in a retail environment here. You can see a number of sizes, but those are all blue jeans. And what happens is blue jeans come not only in blue, but they come in a variety of colors, and they come in acid washed, and they come in slash knees and whatever else. And so those style factors are competing with the number of sizes. So even if the garment can be sized properly, the retail environment may choose to stock more colors and fewer sizes, which is why I have a hard time finding clothes at the store. But what I noticed when I walked in is all of you are perfectly proportioned to the fit models, so that is why your jeans fit so perfectly.